this is Frank from Tested, and we're here in Monsterpalooza 2017, and we can't stop staring at Simon Lee's sculpture. He made probably one of the most coolest things that we've seen walking around here. Simon, tell us about this.
Well, this is obviously a fan art, based on Stranger Things. I love the show. Wanted to do my own interpretation, trying to wrap the entire show into one sculpture if possible.
It's so crazy. You have all the little people that were dragged into the upside down.
Yeah.
And Demogorgon on top of 11, like underneath. That's
because originally I started with just the Demogorgon. I sculpted it like this.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at it, it's like, okay, it's from the upside down, so I have to flip the sculpture upside down, and then the design changed. Everything would just kind of. This is almost like a downward spiral, if you will.
So you didn't start out with this thinking it was going to go this way.
No.
To take a sculpture like that and flip it, did you have to rework the armature and?
Not the armature. I'll keep adding elements to it, and then I'll reinforce the armature as I go. Everything is design driven, so whatever is necessary to make the visual composition work, I'll add into it. So nothing is pre-planned. It's very spontaneous type of approach.
Well, a lot of your work is very spontaneous. You have all those little blocks of clay sculptures. You just take a block of Chavant, and you just kind of make little things out of one block. Is this one block?
This is probably 2-3 blocks.
So when you do this kind of stuff, what's it? This is Chavant that you got to flip upside down.
Yeah.
Is 11 also Chavant?
Yes. She was also Chavant. So basically, what I do is I'm a concept artist for films. A lot of times when I work on films, most of my coworkers are illustrators.
Yeah.
So they'll be drawing, and then I'll be formulating my ideas in clay.
Just quick sketches.
Just quick sketches.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I don't do any sketches on paper. So I'll sketch directly in clay. So nothing is pre-planned. Everything will have to happen based on how the story is unfolding.
Is this Chavant soft or medium? What do we
medium.
got? Medium.
Yeah.
So a lot of sculptors that we've talked to around here, and a lot of the stuff we see, they're fine art kind of finished sculptors.
Yes.
You're a concept sculptor. That's totally different than what we see.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because I'm a completely self-taught artist. I started sculpting when I was about 6 years old. I've been always doing it this way, but it's only later on in life when I started getting into contact with other sculptors, then I realized, wait a minute, other sculptors don't approach it this way. The way I approach sculpture is almost like people drawing.
Yeah.
So I would just create my concept, but three-dimensionally in clay. So a lot of times when I work on films, the directors and the art directors will find it helpful to see the concept just emerging, three-dimensionally. In that sense, it's very different from other sculptures.
So it's kind of like thumbnail sketches. It's not finished pieces in the sense of, molded and pour textures and.
In my opinion, if we can establish a really strong primary or secondary forms in just really, really rough gesture, then we can have actually more meaningful discussion further down the road. Because if we want to do the detailing, we can just cut up a sculpture and put in the time and make it as detailed, as refined as possible. But initially, if we cannot get the audience's attention from just really far away, then I think we've failed part of our job.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people that are doing it in this way.
Well, if people are responding to what I'm doing, that's great. I just want to get more kids excited about sculpture.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily trying to turn them into traditional sculptors, but I do want to show people there are things that we can get from this art form, and maybe bring the knowledge onto digital medium.
Yeah. Well, learning things in a traditional sense pays off in the digital sense, and vice versa.
Yes, definitely.
This is great, and you got this awesome Godzilla kind of in progress. You got a Evangelion going on. I can't stop looking at your Instagram, dude. It's some of the best stuff.
Thank you very much.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
And most of these things that you make, they're not really things that are meant to be molded and cast and resold and stuff. They're just kind of concepts, right?
They're concepts. They're fan arts because I teach a class in my spare time. So a lot of times when I do a theme that people can relate to, it's easier to get their attention, get my students excited, get the audience excited, so I can get my message across. How do we come up with composition, visual designs, things like that, so we can have a more meaningful discussion. So I'm not really doing it to sell or that type of purposes, but in terms of getting the message across, they definitely do the job.
Well, a lot of your work really speaks to the gesture of what's going on. It's not about the little fine details, it's about this emotion.
Yeah.
And I think that's really awesome.
Well, it's because I think nowadays people have such short attention spans. If I can get the message across really quickly and they can get the gist of what's going on, then I think that's probably the best way to go as far as concept goes.
Oh, so gorgeous. I love it.
Thank you
Cool.
very much. All right, man.
Well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.